So I feel like over the last few years, I have spent a lot of time talking about showreels, whether that's with people I know who are graduating drama school and they've shared with me the kind of advice and guidance they've been taught at drama school about showreels. And also, I have had some kind of form of a showreel for a while, so I have friends who know I have that coming to me to ask me about my thoughts on showreels. Since I've had so many conversations about them, I just thought I'd share a few different tips, things that I've heard, things that I've learned. And I'm not saying that everyone should follow this very strictly and this is the one way of doing things. I just think it's quite a complicated topic. Everything in acting is quite complicated, so it's just useful sometimes to hear what other people have heard and learned. And if you want to hear more about my experiences and things I've learned about the industry along the way, then please do subscribe. I'm sort of progressively getting closer to 400 subscribers as I'm filming this, so if you want to help me get towards that, then please do subscribe because I would really appreciate that. And let's chat about my showreel advice. So firstly, I think an important thing to keep in mind is that people are likely not going to watch the whole showreel, because I think a lot of people plan like, oh, I'll have this scene here, then I'll have this scene here, this scene here. Like, actually, you just need to put your best stuff first, because, for example, my showreel, like, I can't see how much people are viewing it on Spotlight, I think, but I have an unlisted YouTube link that I will send to certain castings, student films, like low budget films that are not on Spotlight, just castings I see. And for reference, my showreel is 1 minute 36 seconds, and I checked the audience retention on it before I filmed this video, and the average view duration of my showreel is 36 seconds, because I think, like, people know that people might not watch everything, but I think sometimes it's something that's easy to forget. But make sure that you put your best stuff first. And also, some people say, and like it says online, 2 to 3 minutes, but I've also been told quite a lot, like some people say 30 seconds, which I think is more of like a dance thing sometimes, but I've heard 1 minute 30 is quite good as well. Like, everyone will say different things, but just keep it shorter. Like, no one needs 5 minutes. Like, often people aren't going to watch 5 minutes. And I think something I see a lot of people do that isn't really beneficial is they spend ages planning different scenes that they might want to film and planning which footage of like footage they already have they want to put in a showreel, and before they know it, months and months and months have gone by and they still don't have a showreel. Like, it is important to have something to send out to people. I know there's a lot of people who will go to a specific showreel filmmaker and will plan scenes, and they'll get someone to come in and film a scene with them like it's from something, but I think that pathway is inaccessible for a lot of people because it costs a lot of money, and not all of us have like hundreds of pounds to spend on that. So I would say you can build up short film footage if you're just very persistent. I know a lot of people who are involved in a lot of different short films, and then if you're involved in a lot of them, that takes the pressure off a lot, because I know when I wasn't filming as many different short films, then I would have so much pressure I would put on myself to make short films good and to think what I would use for a showreel. But it is like a lot less pressured if you end up doing a lot of different short films. So I know a lot of people find different short films to be involved in through being in various different actor or filmmaker Facebook groups. I'm personally not on Facebook, but my mum is, so if she sees anything on Facebook, she'll let me know about it. You can also follow people who make their own films on Instagram, and also if you have friends who are filmmakers, you can make your own projects together, and you can also contact all of the different universities filmmaking courses in your area, or like as far afield as you want to go, because I think I've ended up being involved in student projects through reaching out to universities directly, to their film departments. And I think getting used to being on set generally and getting used to the rhythm of filming a scene is really useful in making you more comfortable in the set environment, so you're more likely to be happy with the footage you're creating in short films. So doing extra work and that kind of thing, I think, is helpful. Because I think a mistake I made with one of my earlier showreels is that in the first student film I ever did, it was no one else's fault apart from my own, but I just put a lot of pressure on myself because I knew I was potentially getting footage that I would want to use. So I was quite tense. It was my first time hitting marks, which, if you don't know, like, you have marks on the ground which you have to walk to and stand on if you're entering a scene in order for you to be properly in focus, and I wasn't really used to doing that so much, so I feel like I was quite tense and unnatural in that element. Also vocally, it just wasn't my strongest performance. I think I was quite tense. And then I went on to use some of that footage in my showreel, and I think that's one of my biggest regrets maybe of my earlier showreel, is that like if you think that a scene reflects on you badly and you don't think it's you at your best, do not include it in a showreel and send it out to people. Like I feel like that's kind of obvious, but sometimes you can get in your own head and be like, but this is like the most professionally set up piece of filming of me acting. But if it's not the best work that you can do, maybe don't include it. However, I do think, to be honest, that some people can get a bit overly perfectionist with their showreel, in the case that they end up thinking too much about the final product and refining it and all of that. And I think if you spend too long like finalizing it before you send it out, then you've not got anything to send out. It's better to have something and keep always improving it and updating it, rather than having the same showreel as well for a few years. Like, it's something that you can update. How I view a showreel is like how I view an acting CV, in that when you're starting out, you will have all of these different student film credits on your CV, but as you start to book then potentially like feature films and TV roles, you would then start to take off the student projects and replace them with your TV roles as you progress and become more established. And I think that's how you should approach your showreel as well, in that you should have the projects that you have, and as you go on to bigger and better projects, then you change stuff out. But a few of the things I've been told to avoid is having too much B-roll. Like, it should be dialogue focused, it should be focused on you and not other people. You should be able to like see you, and it shouldn't be just like footage of reactions or them saying lines to you. Be careful of that. Like, you don't just want just you crying and nothing actually going on dialogue wise. Just people want to see you delivering dialogue on camera. It's very complicated and different people have different opinions on it, but those are a few of the things that I would say have guided me through the showreel thing, because I think it's really complicated and it can be overcomplicated and confusing. But if you want to hear any more of my thoughts on things, then please do leave me a comment and I will get back to you and talk about showreels with anyone who wants to talk a bit more. Also, if you do have any showreel tips for me or for us all, then please do leave them in the comments. I would really appreciate that. And thank you so much to everyone for watching. Bye!